Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Brian Altano. I'm with Mitch Dyer.
Hello.
We're here at Tokyo Game Show, or right before the Tokyo Game Show. Specifically, where are we?
Bandai Namco.
This is their headquarters. It looks like an Aztec temple. It's amazing.
It's gorgeous.
So we came here and we got to check out Dark Souls, Crown of the Ivory King, which is the third DLC in Dark Souls 2.
Correct.
What do we think of it?
So it's, I mean, the whole thing of it is like, oh, it's all wintry, and you can see a bunch of ice, and there's ice monsters, and they're really hard. The game continually, you know, like Dark Souls does, just whoops my ass.
Yep.
But playing it now, and you and I were talking about this while we played, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about it now. I feel like Dark Souls 2, much as I think it's a good game, and I mean, we reviewed it and gave it a good score because it is a cool game, but I just don't think that I care anymore in a world where Bloodborne exists.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like when the franchise launched, it captivated so many people. It was abrasive and brutal and terrifying, and then it sort of evolved, and then now there's Bloodborne, and they're existing in the same world. And Bloodborne's a next-gen game. All the eyes are on it, and this has a lot to compete with now. And it's interesting that it's still there, and it's on PS3. So I'm wondering how all of this stuff will fit in the same world now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Bandai Namco and From Software kind of put them side by side. I feel like the DLC was revealed shortly after, or like right alongside Bloodborne.
Yeah.
So you see Bloodborne and you're like, wow, this is the Dark Souls team making a new Dark Souls game that's called something else, and it's for PS4, and it's got this incredible like Victorian Gothic horror art style that is extrapolating, it's expanding on a lot of what Dark Souls 2 did. And here you see minor changes to the environment. It's like, oh, it's another castle, but it's icy, it's got icicles on it. And it's fine, but it doesn't have the kind of luster that you see in Bloodborne, which is like this amazing looking game with awesome new enemies. And this feels like, you know, I hate to be that guy who's like, oh, it's more of the same. It's kind of more of the same.
Yeah, but is that a bad thing? I mean, I don't know if people playing Dark Souls are really playing for the most, like...
The variety.
The variety or the most, like, breathtaking graphical experiences anymore.
I mean, it is about the core of that gameplay, because it is so strong, it's so skill-based, and it feels good to master it. And I'm sure Crown of the Ivory King will be that as well. But it's just hard to be impressed by it. And I'm sure, like, when it comes out, a bunch of people will play it and it'll be awesome. But I just have a hard time getting excited for Dark Souls 2 right now. And I'm wondering, like, maybe it's time to just move on to Bloodborne or Dark Souls 3.
I do feel like it's absolutely something for the people who are already hooked into it, who are already there. It's tough for, I think, somebody to come in on the very end of the arc of all of this and say, this is where I'm going to start. Which, you know, it's fans of the genre, more of the same, and that's very good. And I don't necessarily feel that something needs to be... you don't get bonus points for being more beautiful as you kill me 75 times. You know, I mean, it helps, but really I'm dying a lot, and it's the perseverance there and overcoming that really matters the most.
I mean, anecdotally, and this is like purely, accurately scientific, I mean, the people I know who love Dark Souls don't love Dark Souls 2. They're like, no, it was fine, but I don't know anybody who is actively like, I can't wait for the third DLC. I love the first two so much. They were so great. You know, the first two were a little bit hollow. They were separate from Dark Souls 2. It was like this standalone thing that didn't really correlate to anything, so it just kind of felt out of place. And now the third one is like, yep, again, probably that, but still the gameplay is solid. It's there. I don't know. I just don't know a lot of people who are still in love with Dark Souls 2. All of them, when I talk to them about what they love about it, like, yeah, now I can't wait for that in Bloodborne.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the third and final installment of DLC for Dark Souls 2. If you've never played a Dark Souls game before, this might be a very, very difficult place to pick it up and start. I got my ass kicked a bunch of times.
8 seconds and you were dead.
Hey.
I backed off a ledge, don't feel too bad.
But if Dark Souls is your thing, then this is probably a great end cap for you, and at least something to hold you over until Bloodborne, or play forever and just say forget it's a Bloodborne. But that's up to you.
Yeah, don't do that. Bloodborne looks rad.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be covering games at TGS all week long, so keep it locked right here to IGN.